All right. Good morning, everybody. Hey, welcome. We're giving everybody a chance to get logged in. Congratulations for everybody here with us live today. Of course, many of you are going to be watching this on the replay. Welcome to you as well. It's Monday, August 14th, 2023. This is our Business Solution Circle Up, and I am so excited to be here to kick off the week with you. We are going to be getting right into our guest speakers. I'm going to talk about incentives and events at the end of the meeting today. But I just want to remind all of you that are plugging in today, if you weren't with us last week, we talked about how to launch your solutions business. We talked about what do people do that are winning? Like, what are the common traits of the folks that are winning in the business versus the folks that are spinning their wheels or feeling frustrated? Make sure you catch the replay if you weren't with us last week at agentsofchange.team on the resources page. You'll get that information. You'll love it. And it's actually hosted on YouTube, very easy to share with your team as well. So as we're kicking off today, I'm going to get right into it. We're going to start. I've got two great guest speakers for you, and I'm going to start in the state of Connecticut with my good friend, Mr. Jack Soares. Before I bring him on, I want you to know why he's here with us today. So Jack, of course, is the picture of consistency, as you'll see, as the big winners in business solutions are. He's been in Performance Club for over 100 months. He's a $50,000 ring earner, and he's one of the most sought after field trainers for our associates in New England, and of course across the map wherever he can be able to help somebody. What Mr. Soares does is he breaks down the business for our newest associates. So some of you are brand new, and you're saying, "Hey, listen, I want to get out there. I want to make the big money, and I want to skip all of the learning stuff. I just want to make the money." And what's so great about Mr. Soares, and he's going to share his story here in a moment, what's so great about him is he's a great coach, not just an excellent producer. So the producers we absolutely need. We need you to be a great producer, but we need great coaches to help break down all of the skills into the skills that make up the big skills. And Mr. Soares, I can't think of anybody better to explain it and talk about it than you, sir. We'd love to hear your story and anything you'd like to share with the group today. Take it away, sir.
All right, great. Thank you so much. It's honored to share. And again, my name is Jack Soares, and I've been in the business. I grew up in Legal Shield. Sort of like Jim Tanner talks about. I was fresh out of college. I was a year out of college, working as a computer engineer when I was first approached with Legal Shield. And when I got started, I started part-time like most people. And eventually had a couple months where I beat my full-time income, and I left corporate America, was just out there kind of winging it. I'll never forget, for those of you who have been around for a while, when we first made this shift from prepaid legal to Legal Shield, Marty Galano became the field trainer, became the state trainer for the state of Connecticut at that time. And he took me under his wing, and I had a lot of time during the day. He's like, "Man, you can do business solutions." He's like, "You can do it." He's like, he took me under his wing and, worked with him on some of his groups, and he worked with me on some of my groups. And it changed the game, because honestly, can I be real with you all? Humbly speaking, I was always a great presenter. Humbly speaking. All right. I could present the information well. The challenge was when I went into businesses, and I went into their offices and started talking to them, and they'd always look at me like, "This is a great benefit. It's cute." And they said, "We'll get back to you." And I never heard back from HR benefits or owners. And I was like, man, I'm so great at presenting the information. And some of them that would get back to me, like, "You know what? We'll let you sign them up on your own. They can go out there, and we'll let you set up in a lunchroom, or we'll let you hand out flyers. We'll put your flyers up. And if anybody's interested, they can call you." And that's what I got. And I just didn't understand why. I was frustrated. And but when Marty took me under his wing, see, what I understood was, and so if you're taking notes, write this down. You may be excellent at conveying the information, but the reason that I learned afterward, the reason I wasn't getting as many groups is because people could tell it was my first rodeo. People could tell that I was not a benefit specialist, because I didn't speak the language properly. I didn't answer the questions, even though I answered the questions about the benefits, about the administration part. And that's really the challenge. And that's in my opinion, the value of working with a field trainer is that they've been there, they've done that, they've worked with employee benefits, and they speak the employee benefits language. And the number one reason we get turned down and people say, "Oh, we'll put your flyer up, they can call you if they're interested," is because they don't want you to create more work for them because you're not a benefit specialist. And so what partnering with a field trainer does is allow you to leverage the experience of somebody that speaks the language of not Legal Shield, but the employee benefits language. That's, is able to interact and communicate with that HR representative, the business owner, and really make it so it's so simple and smooth for them. Whereas as a field trainer, I'm coming in and working with groups, and we're going to make it so that we fit in with all their other benefits. We're not doing anything weird. We're not trying to figure it out. We're not trying to force apps that don't need to be at. We're going to go in there professionally, and they're going to feel it right off the bat. They're going to feel that language. They're going to feel that posture. See that posture that what you're talking about when you're talking about benefit makes all the difference in the world. So I have a couple quick slides I want to share with you. So, whether your major is everyone here a major B2B, Jim, or is it kind of a mix? People just want to profit from solutions.
I would say that there's a mix in the live audience, but this meeting is always directed at our solutions associates coming up in the business.
Okay, excellent. So, whether you're majoring in T-billing or business solutions, either way, this is going to apply to you because, you want to take the apprentice model. You think about a master carpenter, just because you took the class doesn't make you a carpenter, right? And, imagine that you're doing you're getting your kitchen redone, and you get a referral from someone says, hey, my nephew does kitchens. And you say, hey, let me see your book of before and after. You say, oh, actually, let me take some pictures of this before, because you're going to be my first kitchen, right? Do you want to use it? Do you want to be the first before and after? He's like, trust me, I know. Measure twice and cut once. It's going to be great, right? It sounds really good, right? But we know we don't want to be their first experience, and that's what we're doing to folks if we're not working with that apprentice model of field training. So the fastest way to get help, you're able to profit from business solutions without business solutions. So if you're somebody that's just going to, really geared towards recruiting solutions, folks, you're able to, plug people in, plug someone into a field trainer. You come across opportunities all the time. See, I came across some groups. I opened some groups before I was field trained because, it just made sense. But if I could have partnered with somebody that would have went in there, did a 50-50 split in the business. By the way, so the field training process, you work with somebody, and the field trainer may work with you on a few different accounts, but they don't get paid for field training. Field trainers split business with you. And what we found is statistically for experienced associates, you write 3 times as much business if you partner with a field trainer. For a new associate, I know Gary, you write 5 times as much business in groups written when partnered with a field trainer. So if you split that, you're going to make more than you would have anyway. And you get the opportunity to leverage. See, when I split business with Marty, not only did I split the business, maybe I could have wrote and made a little bit more in my head, but the knowledge that I gained by splitting business with Marty and able to see him in action is priceless. So those of you who want to do this full time, all you're going to need to field train once or twice, maybe. If you have that skill set already, is to start getting that language, getting that lingo, and then you'll use your field trainer more as just someone to run, bounce information off of. And so this allows you to not get distracted, have to learn everything if you're part-time. But if you're full-time, you become that. If you want to be that B2B person, you're able to become an apprentice, go in there. So if you want a field trainer, here's the link, www.legalshieldfieldtrainer.com, and they'll connect you with a field trainer right in your area. That's the corporate program that we have in every region. Then we probably have people from all across the country. Every region has a whole field trainer system in place to be able to connect with someone that's a certified field trainer. And there's certain criteria that they have to meet in order to be a field trainer. You have to continue to produce as well to maintain that. So every year they call the field trainer groups of people that are semi-retired that aren't actively out there building. So you're going to get someone who's a certified field trainer who's actually out there in the marketplace, making it happen. And that's really the key to partner with a field trainer, being that apprentice and going out there and making it happen. So there's just a couple slides from the business solution space I wanted to share with you from the employee benefit certification training. And it does make a difference. And and our goal is, honestly, for those of you that are out there that really want to do B2B, we need more trainers. Like, we do not have, Jim was just talking about it, man, I need you to come up here and help me in mass because there's not enough training. And that's all across the country. We don't have enough solutions trainer so we're looking for people that want to be trained and then can become trainers themselves. And I have a few people that I've mentored up that are now field trainers as well. So that feels great. And so for those of you that are a B2B specialist, we want you to come in there, learn from the best first, learn from the trainers that are out there, and then you can go back and teach that and become a trainer as well. And so I don't know if you wanted to have a quick Q&A or anything. I'm open for that, Jim, or if your agenda was tight and you wanted to move on. But that was pretty much what I wanted to share with you.
I love that, Mr. Soares. We do have a tight agenda, but I do have one question I'd like to ask on behalf of the group because I want them to hear your answer.
Okay.
Which, what is one of the most common things when you're getting started? You're the trainer. You've got somebody that wants to be trained. They want to do well in this. What is one of the most common things that you see that people are where they're not yet really prepared to work for you? And I know that's a tough thing because it was something we talked about this before, but I have answers that I've seen too, right? Someone just not prepared to work with you. Maybe it's just the case that they thought you were going to do everything, right? Or whatever you'd like to share. But I know that you're running into that when you step in to be the trainer and the trainee is just not ready for Jack Soares.
Yeah, I mean, well, here's what I would say. Number one, it's worth it to have the initial conversation with a field trainer. So go ahead, don't feel like you have to get too ready to do it. And that's why we have systems in place so that if you're not ready, but I'll share the way that you can best utilize the opportunity of a field trainer and say, hey, I really want to maximize the opportunity is start identifying within your warm market potential leads. And not Coca-Cola, right? People say, hey man, my cousin works at Walmart or Coca-Cola. It's people always want to start with the whale. And I think that's the biggest challenge is someone, I've trained people who knew somebody at a major Fortune 50 company, one of the top 50 companies in the country. And they just want to go in and they don't want to work on anything else because they want this one group. And by the way, the bigger companies, the bigger they are, the longer the sales cycle. So, you're talking about, anything over 500 employees, you're talking about a year and a half minimum, right? And so, the longer, and you might not, no one realizes, but we have a certain amount of time where if we don't make money in this business, we're out. Like, you don't know what the timer is. We all feel like, oh no, I'm here. I'm Legal Shield for life. Trust me. If you don't make a certain amount of money in a certain amount of time, you're gone. And if everything's on the whale, then you're counting, or you just want, you think the company's going to give you leads. No, we're going to work with you. Now, trainers going to work with you how to develop it, but everyone, I'm telling you, everyone comes to the table with groups in their warm market. And you may not realize it, that there's people that that you don't even think about what they do because they're just cousins, but they're the CEO of a company. They're the CFO of a company. We had someone we worked with here in the Northeast recently who her daughter was an HR rep. Right. And she wanted to cold call, Jim. Can you imagine she wanted to go out and cold call? She's looking for cold calling scripts. And her daughter was an HR rep. The field trainer was able to say, hey, wait, and got an appointment. And now they're opening that group. And hey, I know that's an extreme example. Everyone's daughter is not going to be in HR, right? But folks, I'm telling you, there's acres of diamonds right in your backyard. So I would say for field trainees, the unwillingness to go to their warm market because they scared their warm market off, Jim. And sometimes people feel like we beat our warm market up. But if you're willing to work with a field trainer and say, hey, approach people from a different level, sell through people, not to them, and say, hey, I want to run a concept by you. You might know somebody, and I'm not selling you anything, and you can't buy anything. And then you can get referrals, and some people in your warm market will. And when you come to the field trainer with leads, if you can come with the lead, our closing rate's over 80%. When you bring the right prospect to the line, so it's really helping yourself to identify leads. So hopefully, I know I kind of rambled there, Jim, but hopefully I identified some of the things you were looking for.
That's absolutely perfect, Jax. Thank you so much for being on with us. You're welcome to stay, of course. Although I know you have a busy agenda, but we're going to continue on because we also have Renee McKnight here, and I know what Jack's thinking. He's thinking, I'm not getting off the Zoom if Renee McKnight's about to talk. I'm going to introduce Renee, and she's already going to be embarrassed. She knew that when she agreed to speak here today. Renee McKnight is an absolute legend in this incredible company. When I got started in this business, she was one of the people that we all wanted to be like, right? I mean, we watched this poised professional woman go out there and execute in this space in our company and win with this model. Today, she's a six-figure ring earner, a millionaire club member. We're talking about a business. Legal Shield has put $1 million plus in her checking account. And I have just been in absolute awe watching her on this journey. I've got to watch her child grow up in this business. I got to watch her flourish in this business. I got to watch her touch so many other people and help them win in this business. And the one thing I'm going to make absolutely sure I say before you start talking, Renee, is that based out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, now there's no saturated market anywhere in this country, but if there's any place where more people have touched the business community with this opportunity to enroll their employees, it's got to be where you are in the Oklahoma market. And yet you've still been able to win in an amazing way and influence our communities across your area and across the nation. Renee McKnight, we're so excited to have you here. The floor is yours, ma'am.
Thank you, Jim. Yes, Jim knows how to embarrass me. Good morning, everyone. You know, I know many of you guys have heard my story over and over again, but it is important to realize, can you hear me? Okay. It is important to realize that we all started somewhere, right? So we got introduced. We came to the meeting and business briefing. I was at our Super Saturday this weekend. And I always reflect on, I still remember my first time. In the first few months, the first year, and the frustrations over the years, and how valuable and important it is to really know our product and have a heart and belief in what we do and the impact we make. And when we're out there with the right heart, just wanting to genuinely help others, we're going to win no matter what, you know, if it's individual sales, if it's group. Now, for me, I was a single mom. When I first started getting laid off, I was not pregnant. I ended up pregnant during that unemployment, and 7 months ran out. And what am I going to do? Got introduced to Legal Shield. I said, man, where has this been my whole life? I could have used this so many times, but I didn't see it as a true full-time opportunity. I thought, oh, this would be great part-time. Well, God had other plans for me. He closed every door. Okay. And while I'm pregnant, I'm thinking, what can I do? How can I do this? I've got to learn as much as possible. So I was showing up. And that's so important. I was at every business briefing because that's how I had the repetition of learning again and again, hearing about the product, the presentation, the testimonials, seeing the others that had gone before me and were successful and were rock stars to me, right? We all have that. I was going and getting the autographs and the profiles of success, you know, of the top people in the company. Who should I follow? Who can I emulate and be more like? And you find those folks, and guess what? There's so many different backgrounds. There's so many different personalities and ways of presenting. And you've got to connect and feel what your way is. Okay. Just because I'm successful doing things my way, it doesn't mean that somebody else can't come in and do it a different way and be successful. But where the difference is how passionate are you about what we do and what we bring to the table. Now, sometimes that's hard to be when you're getting no's, right? And the door is shut in your face. And I shared with my dad, I was like, because my dad for a little bit did the business with me. And he's like, I don't know how you can get up and do this. I said, well, I keep doing it until I hear the stories or hear somebody's thank you. And then that like re-energizes me because I made a huge difference in that person's life. Okay, I've got a guy that he works for the Parks and Recreation Department, and most people know that they don't make very much money, right? And they don't have the highest level of education, or they would be out there working a better paying job. So didn't have much money, had 8 kids. I was already told by his supervisor when I came to present, and you have to remember, a lot of people are like, oh, great, I'm going to a sales meeting, or they're going to try to sell me something. And I try to very quickly diffuse that so they are open and let their guard down by asking questions and learning a little bit about them and saying, hey, I'm not here to sell you. I've already been told you guys aren't interested. You're not going to buy it. So just took that away from them. I'm just here to share information on your benefits and your plan. And guess what? He ended up signing up along with 5 out of 6 of his coworkers. And he thanked me again and again. I sat down with him, showed him how to do the will, because he was like, how do I get started? What do? I know I need to do this, and I don't even know where to start. So are you serving and helping your members know how to use their plan? Are you teaching them how to get logged into the phone app? You know, I know we don't get very much time in the business solutions arena when we're out there, but we have so many programs, you know, Prospect by PPL aside, membership campaign. I know for the success team, you know, you've got the membership campaign as well. But also it's not just technology, because I know all of us are busy and we miss, it's like, oh, I mean to read that email, but I don't have time right now, and it gets buried, right? It's like I have such a long to-do list. It overwhelms me at times. And so it's not that we don't want to do it, but then when they have an issue or they reach out to you, hey, what's the number to law firm? And I'll see if I can help them, if I can do a 3-way call with them to the law firm, especially if it's the first time, to just show them how easy it is and the difference in calling. I want them to and encourage them. And I will use the word call numerous times through my presentation. And I'm like, okay, do you guys know what you're supposed to do? Because we need them seeking advice and wise counsel. Now, when I started out, I saw what people had done, but I never truly believed that I could get there. When I hit my $50,000 ring, and that was when I was really committing and saying, okay, I can do this. And I had to make it work. I was full-time, didn't have any other income, didn't even have child support. So I love the bonus money every month because that's my child support. So I can give the best to my daughter. I like that I don't have a cap. It's unlimited opportunity out there. So you might go out and have a massive month. Like my largest month was $25,000. Which, how awesome is that? But I worked on that group. Yes, it was a big group, but for 8 years, I got told, nope, not this year. And are you staying in there? And are you being consistent? And like Jack mentioned, you got to do the little ones because you have to eat. And our business owners need our plan. You know, you've got to reach out to them. Understand that they have attorneys, but they're not using them. They just cost them too much money. And so they're not taught or trained. But when you say, how would you like to be able to pick up the phone and not receive a bill? And the power that that brings to the business owner, to the employees of a group. When I know Mike Riches says this all the time, when personnel issues become, or personal issues become personnel issues, we can solve that for that employer. We can solve that for families. And as Venus spoke earlier on another call this morning about getting our will done and having kids, these parents don't know how to get that done. I just happened to need a watch battery. I was in the jewelry store on Saturday after the Super Saturday saying, oh my gosh, I've been meaning to do this and get this done. And I was speaking to the young woman that was helping me. She was very sweet, wonderful. And she's like, so what do you do? And I was wanting to share Legal Shield and ID Shield, of course, with the business owner, because we're always supposed to follow our dollar. Are you guys doing that? And she goes, you know, I have wanted to get my will done. She was young. She's like, my husband, we were going through a separation, eventually divorced, but he passed away during that time. It's just me and my 5-year-old son. I know I need my will. And I was able to take out my phone and show her how simple and easy it was to do through our phone app. I had another member at one of my groups that has had it for years, and I knew he had the plan. I'm like, hey, did you get your will done? Take out your phone right now. And I do that with my members when I get an opportunity to see them or speak to them on the phone. Have you done this? Do you know how to do it? Let me send you some information, or take out your app right now. And I had him click through it. Now, he hadn't been previously married, but in 3 minutes, we got 71% through his will questionnaire. I'm like, Wow, that is crazy simple. It's easy to do. It's easy not to do, but teach your members how to use their plan. And you too will be celebrating. Just remember, as we're learning, we can learn and plug into everything, but if we don't go out there and take action, another thing on the call this morning, it said that success and failure are best friends, and we need to fail to get better. Guess what? I still go out there and will flop on my face sometimes, and I'm like, oh, that was painful. What could I have done different? But we learn from that, right? And if we're not going out there and taking action, I had a guy that had been to 6 group schools that I field trained. And he's like, Renee, I haven't gone out there and opened a group yet. I'm like, well, why not? I said, let's go do it. And so sometimes that's what we need. And never before in the history of the company, this is my 17th year, have we had the field training program that you guys have access to. And I know that we think, oh, we've got to give up 50%. But it's not really given up. It's that paid training, like insurance agents, they don't get paid. They go out there and train, and it might be 3 or 4 months before they get any income. With Legal Shield, you guys have the opportunity to go make that happen. And so just do that. Remember to take action every day. Be excited about what you offer. One of my schools I've been in this month, she was saying, yeah, the last guy we had here, he just seemed like he didn't want to be here. He wasn't excited at all. And she could tell even, and I think how amazing that after all these years, I'm still excited to share this product and really help people. And, you know, people can feel that in you and they can feel your passion. So be sure and share that. And I don't know if you wanted anything else, Jim, for me to say.
Renee, listen, I could grill you in front of everybody for hours because I know you have so many stories, and there's so many times we just talked in a hallway at an event, and I learned so much more about your career. But I think, just like I was asking Jack, what are some of those common things you see? Because again, this is a group of people, not everyone, but there's a group of people here that are here starting this journey, and you've certainly you've taken these steps yourself. But also it's 2023. I'm sure you're watching people with all of the capacity in the world to do this business and then struggle, like you just talked about. And then other people that you would think, well, how could they with no background be doing so well? I mean, you've seen it all. What's one of the things that our newest associates could do better to really springboard themselves forward? Now, I know you love the membership. I love the membership, and your retention, I didn't say in your introduction, is probably the highest in the entire company. Your award-winning retention. We heard in your training why that is, because you take the time with your members, but maybe it's that, or maybe it's something else that you'd like to share that would be that slight edge moment for our associates that want to have the career that you've had, and they just find themselves just not getting there yet.
Oh, so many. I tried to give nuggets throughout. I mean, really, it is if we're not going to talk to people, we're not going to make sales. If we don't solve problems for people, years ago, and I kind of got a little perk and benefit for being here in Oklahoma. We used to have, they called it advanced product training, which Melissa Wilder now does, Chat with the Pros, which so none of you all have any excuse to not be on that because it is virtual. You don't have to drive or get there. Okay. And that is the most amazing training, the ins and out of our products, how to sell it, how to market it. But, we would go and have different trainers from across the country. And again, I had to drive 2.5 hours to corporate. So that was still an investment, load up the car. I see Venus and Sonora doing that all the time, bringing people to events. But you've got to know your product. You also have to talk to people. And Imelda Kaufman was saying years ago, this stuck with me. I was like, oh, interesting. So what do we do when we talk to people that are in a legal situation? Do we immediately open our mouth and start like throwing up Legal Shield all over them? No, I kind of talk to them and let them feel the pain. So what happened in that? Most of the time it was a horrible experience. Very painful, very expensive one. So we talk about, hey, what happened? Now, let me share with you why I love Legal Shield and how Legal Shield can help in that situation. Now, obviously, it's past time. I talked to a school teacher. I was like, excuse me, what on earth happened to you? And you guys really need to share stories, testimonials. If you don't have any, there's so many, and there's places when our Legal Shield website that you can get them, borrow from others until you have your own. But if you're not using your membership or listening and sharing testimonials, you're missing out, because those are the things that touch. It's that emotion of what would I do in that situation? Can people relate to the story that you're sharing? So a lot of people will give a story that maybe doesn't even relate to that crowd or that audience that you're talking to. So sometimes in groups, we've got to appeal to the broad audience. But I had one of my teachers come up to me, and a couple of them, one called me and I was out working, and she goes, Renee, I don't know what to do. We had bad storms come through Tulsa, some people without power for 2 weeks. And she said, my insurance company sent me to this company that gave me a quote. And then I went through my insurance company. They only offered me, the amount that they offered me versus the estimate was $90,000 difference. I was like, what? And I said, you have Legal Shield. Have you called them? And again, if we share that story, how many people have related to that, especially if they're in a situation, we think of Maui, we think of all the hurricanes and different disasters that everybody's facing in different areas, and they can relate to that. And one of my other teachers, she said, Renee, I'm 53 years old. Never in my life did I think this would happen to me. I said, I know, if we knew things were going to happen, then we could get our life insurance, then we could get our attorney, we could get our will done and everything. But unfortunately, we don't ever know when that happens, and life does happen. It's more challenging than ever, and it's very costly. So she and her husband were driving in Arkansas, the next state over, and they had been out deer hunting. Now, he had a record, was not supposed to be in possession of guns. The guns were registered to her, but when they got pulled over, the officers took both of them to jail. They were sitting in jail for 2 days. Now, they had a 12-year-old son. Can you imagine how he felt being home alone? Where is mom and dad? She's scared to death. She's like, what on earth? I told the officers they're my guns, told them what we were doing, and now they've kept my guns. I got released, but she has a misdemeanor on her, and they're trying to charge her husband with felony. And I said, can you, so yes, we can help. Here's how we can help in that situation, because it's already pre-existing, and you guys know we help with pre-existing. So you have to teach them, yes, it's going to cost you a little bit of money, but yes, you need resources. And how are you going to get your guns back? Maybe a letter from the law firm, but you need to call. You need advice. Call them. But, I said, now, can you imagine if you would have had Legal Shield at the time and had access in that emergency 24/7, not consented to search, not had any of those issues, they would have known you had an attorney. Do you think the outcome would have been different? My daughter's getting ready to drive. She's now 15 and a half. She drives us a lot of places, which makes me nervous. But I share with my folks when I'm talking to them, I'm like, oh, yes, my daughter's getting ready to drive. And I ask her, do you know where your Legal Shield app is? Do you know where that red emergency 24/7 button is? Because guess what? If you get pulled over, arrested, detained, served with a warrant. And she's like, well, Mom, how do I know if I'm supposed to call? I said, you're being detained. I don't want you on the side of the road by yourself. And guess what? You don't have to be. You call that emergency 24/7 button, you put the speaker on, and you have the attorneys right there with you. Now, how many people have that? How many people have kids that are driving that are scared to death that they're out on the road by themselves? So if we're sharing those stories, and many of you guys have used the plan, and it's easy to be passionate about that. Are you sharing your story? or get passionate about somebody else's and the difference in that it made and the difference in price and cost. I mean, there is nothing like our plan out there. And so be sure and share that. And that's how you can immediately be successful, because you're listening and you're hearing situations that folks are going through, but are you helping them solve that problem?
Renee, that's absolutely fabulous. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And people can't unmute themselves, but you'll see in the chat their appreciation. Everybody is very excited to have you and Jack Soares here sharing your journeys with everyone. And we really appreciate you so much. Thank you for making time. We actually were trying to line up Renee last week, but you were in an enrollment, I believe, or multiple enrollments, I think it was, which is great, right? The people that are the busiest, there's a success leaves clues. Let's work with the busiest people. Again, Renee McKnight, thank you so much. I'm going to keep everybody for about 5 more minutes because I want to talk to you about how you can get the training you need to be the best in this business that you can be. So let's move into, I'm going to share my screen real quick. I believe I'm going to, and let's see what I can make happen here. All right, give me a thumbs up if anybody's seeing that on the screen. Okay, good. All right, so let me talk to you just briefly about, man, isn't it great? Renee McKnight, Jack Soares, all of you here together, working together. Let's talk quickly about the incentives. And I don't want to rush through this, but I do want to respect your time and get you back into your business world and out there producing. But as you heard Jack Soares and Renee McKnight talk about working with a trainer, listen, 50% of something is better than 100% of nothing. And I've watched the same thing. I've watched so many folks get all tangled up in, well, I don't want to work with a field trainer because I don't want to split. And then they go out and they get 0 out of whatever they were, 0 out of 50 hurts when you could have went out there with a field trainer and really made some money together. So go open your first group, get a $250 bonus from our company, do it with a field trainer and get a $500 bonus. Your bonus is doubled. See, our company is telling you what's most important. They're incentivizing you to work with our field training team. And as Renee said, we've never had the network of field trainers that we have today. I mean, it used to be a patchwork of us. You would call me and I would reach out around the country and try to find someone near you that I knew well enough that I could vouch for. We don't have to do that today. But also, as Jack Soares said, there's not enough of our field trainers. So while it is the most comprehensive web of field trainers we've ever had, it's still not what it can be, which means opportunity for you. And the best way for you to become a field trainer is walk in the footsteps correctly by getting field trained by one of these experts today. So I also want to talk about the $100,000 bonus. And this is something that we did this last year. And we had people during COVID, during all the time where things are so uncertain, when the world really hadn't opened back up yet, and we had producers nearly maximize this $100,000 bonus. And this year, multiple people are on track to do this. So it's an incremental bonus. Let me blow it up for you. And listen, you're starting brand new, get the first level, collect that $250 bonus, get level 2, collect $1,000, get level 3, collect $2,000, collect $5,000, $10,000, $17,000. I mean, hopefully these numbers are exciting to you, because last week I did the 5-year game plan, how to earn $100,000 a year every year while building a book of business with great consistency that'll pay you a 6-figure income into the future. And we talked about this last week. That's how you earn $100,000 in income from the compensation plan. And here's another $100,000 on the table for you and I for doing the work you're going to do anyway. It's like getting paid twice on the same production. Up to $100,000 in bonus money just in this one bonus program. Some of you, by the way, and we don't really talk about recruiting during this event here, but some of you right now have friends, have professional people in your life that are looking for what they're going to do next in their career. And they've only seen Legal Shield as something that they can do part-time, or they've never seen it at all. You got to show them this screenshot. You got to show them what's on the table. You got to show your local insurance agent, your local real estate broker. You got to show those sales professionals in your community that there's big money on the table. Now, I'm going to go slow on these, slow enough for you to screenshot this, because I need you to grab this information. Our next employee benefits certification training is Saturday, this Saturday, August 19th, from 11 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Central. Now, you have to pre-register, and every associate can take this class at no cost. Normally, the zero cost is for our new associates, but in the month of August, this is made available to all associates. So let me ask you a question. Not have you been through an employee benefits certification, but when was the last time you went through the certification? If you've never been, this is a no-brainer. Please get registered and join us on Saturday. And if you've been, then it's also a no-brainer. Come back into it and get refreshed on this so that you can understand what's going on today in the most topical, timely way in solutions. All right, so 3, 2, 1 on the screenshot. 3, 2, 1, there's that. Okay, next, our Southeastern Regional Virtual Training. As Renee McKnight was talking about, we used to have to travel to all of these events, and I'm going to show you a travel and event, or two opportunities you have coming up. But this is virtual, so it's hosted for the Southeast, but since it's virtual, all are welcome, and it's free for all associates. So this is an online training. It's not a certification, but you're going to want to plug into this. This is Wednesday, August 23rd. And it's going to go from 4 to 6 p.m. Central. So let's get this on your calendar as well. And who's going to be speaking at this event? Well, we got Jack Soares, Karen Beverly, Kevin Palacci. It's going to be an incredible event. We want you to be there as well. Okay. Next, for our Canadian folks, the employee benefit certification is happening on Friday, August 25th, 11 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. And you can screenshot that. 3, 2, 1. I only got 2 more slides for you. CDLP certification. Now, you want to help. You want to be a full service associate, right? You don't want to watch business go by you, and you don't want it to run over your foot. And if it did run over your foot, you don't want it to be an 18-wheeler. So the commercial driver's legal plan is a plan that allows you to protect the people that drive these 18-wheelers around the country, right? They obviously need our services. Most of them have no idea that Legal Shield even exists until you reveal it to them. This is a paid training. There's a $49 fee to get certified to market the commercial driver's legal plan. But this, again, is an event that you can do virtually, so you don't have to travel. There's going to come a time, ladies and gentlemen, where we're going to be back to classroom immersive experiences. And I know this because as we're watching, as we're beta testing, going back to immersive in-person classroom experiences, we are seeing that those are the results that we're looking for. So while we love the convenience of virtual, there's going to come a time where all of these slides are going to say in a city somewhere, and you're going to have to travel to it. That's how I built my career. That's how most of the folks who have been around a long time built their careers. The reason I'm saying this to you is if you want to be able to get it virtually on Saturday, August 26th, this is an opportunity to do that for only $49. Now, we got 2 fly-in events, and I'm really excited about these, and I'm going to wrap it up. So I just want to make sure you guys understand, because there's been some confusion about this. There's 2 big super regional events for Business Solutions. Baltimore, Maryland on September 1st. These are Fridays. And Chicago, Illinois on the 7th. So you've got this on your screen. Both locations, 9 to 3 Eastern, 9 to 3 Central, right? 9 to 3 Eastern because Baltimore is on Eastern, 9 to 3 Central because Chicago's in Central time. We got great speakers lined up. The best of the best. I will be in person there to greet and help out with you and meet with you and hang out with you in Baltimore. I'll be in Baltimore Thursday afternoon, evening. My flight gets in the afternoon. And I'll be there overnight Thursday, and I'll be there all day Friday, but I am flying out Friday as soon as we're done to get back home for Labor Day weekend, because that's Labor Day weekend. So that's my schedule. And if you're saying, well, I don't know which one to go to, if you want to hang out with me, they're both awesome. But if you want to hang out with me, come to Baltimore. And then you're going to have the event in Chicago the following weekend. If that one works out better for you, go to that one, or go to both, because it's going to be worth it. So that's the last slide there. And so let me just stop the share, because I also can't see all of you while I'm doing that. And I'll just say, since we're out of time, it's 1:15. I just want to thank everybody for joining us. Of course, Ms. Renee McKnight, Mr. Jack Soares, to be able to have these resources available to us. These are folks that are out there making it happen in Legal Shield Business Solutions. They are opening groups. They are servicing their accounts. They're enrolling employees. They are touching every corner of their communities and making an impact as an agent of change. And they took time out of their business and their life to pour into you and I today. Why? Because they understand for us all to be here, for this company and your book of business to be viable 50, 100 years from now, that we all have to win, not just a few individuals here and there. And as you step into your business for the rest of the day and this week that we have in front of us, remember, every time you reveal to someone that Legal Shield as a service, an ID Shield, they exist, you have become an agent of change in their lives. Whether they sign up for the plan today or not, you now have revealed to them what their true options are. And equally with the opportunity, because I am a passionate believer in sharing our opportunity and sharing the whole story so that people around you know that they can participate in this incredible company, 51 plus years in business, rock solid and sound, and making a major impact in communities that we touch. What we do matters, and it's important, and it's noble work. I'm so grateful that I get to do it with all of you. Thank you, and have a great rest of your Monday. Goodbye, everybody.